Removing all hard inquiries, getting that 700, 800 credit score, 100-point boost, removing all the negative, nasty, erroneous items. Yes, we're live. We are live. We are live. If you didn't know we're live, we're live. I'm just kidding. Hey, look, being here on the lives, you can get your live questions answered here on the live. That's right. So I'm going to put my email address in here as I get to answering questions. Sometimes I might miss a question that comes up in the live chat. So I'm putting my email, and yes, I was up early doing the emails on the weekend, on the Saturday. Putting my email here. Yes, you can email me. I can help you get to the other side. I can help you with your credit repair questions, issues, comments, concerns. You can put the comments here. If you're watching the replay, please give the video a thumbs up. I appreciate it. All right. So we're talking about removing hard inquiries. And hey, Jeff, good to see you. Kareem's coming in. Good afternoon, Kareem says. Good afternoon. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you being here on the weekend, getting your credit squared away. All right. Hi, Brandon. Hey. Can go over keeping your credit score up. Yes, absolutely. People giving a thumbs up. I appreciate it. People coming in now. Excellent. All right. So we'll talk about hard inquiry removal. And I got some questions right here. Excellent. Keep your questions coming. So I'm talking about hard inquiry removal because I actually had somebody who emailed in and said, I have over 40 hard inquiries due to car dealership. Okay. Even though I told them only run my credit one time with one bank. So this is a problem, right? This is problematic. If you're going to a car dealership, be cautious. Go to your bank, your credit union for financing, for the funding, for the loan to get the car, because these car dealerships are trying to run the credit down to where you can barely, get approved for the loan, and then they can mark it up. So what can we do? Well, this individual is saying that they didn't give that type of authorization, that type of permission or permissible purpose, right? So we've got a couple letters immediately that can be sent out for these non-account holding inquiries that these dealership ran, 20, 30, 40, 50 times, right? So this letter I'm reading right here, it says, no proof I initiated such inquiries, no written authorization, and have failed to provide any permissible purpose. Must delete these unauthorized inquiries immediately, according to Section 604 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And it talks about permissible purpose under the Act and how it relates to these hard inquiries and how they must be promptly deleted. Okay? This is one letter that can go to the bureaus. The other one is to, and it's a nice 2-page letter, right? You have the staple and all that good stuff. But another letter can go directly to the creditor, okay? The creditors, all these people, all these banks or whomever is looking into your credit, putting all these non-account holding inquiries on there, has a similar letter, a little different, but it can go to them, and it talks specifically about Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 1681BC, okay? Transactions not initiated by the consumer. And it's got the date made and the inquiry and the creditor's name and all this stuff, and it goes on and on and on. You can send these letters. Now, these are in the Beyond Committed package at the 609creditrepair.com, right? Or we can do the work for it at the awesomelifegroup.com. Now, if for some reason they play this game and this individual said, hey, I didn't give them the permissible purpose to do this. I didn't let them. I said one bank, one time, one bank. Well, you can complain to the CFPB, the Attorney General, okay? These individuals who are utilizing this to do some less than, reputable things with the credit, to pull the credit this much, they need to be able to substantiate that. They need to be able to show that, yes, indeed, we were allowed to, that this was initiated by the consumer, that they had the purpose to do this, the permissible purpose. Oftentimes they don't, and this person even said they do not, all right? So if you're dealing with hard inquiries, we've got letters for you. We've got follow-up letters on this as well, if they want to play games, all right? 609creditrepair.com, or we can do the work for you at the awesomelifegroup.com. Now, I'll be going over, how we can boost the score, get it up 700, up into the 700s, because this individual actually wrote in and said, hey, I was able to boost my credit, started with your, it says, I wanted to shout out and give you a big thanks to your Beyond Committed package. I was able to boost my score from the low 600s to the mid 700s, so over 100 point boost for this individual. This person goes on to say, I was able to get credit, business credit, and start my own business, and now they're earning revenue on the daily. This is truly life-saving information you offer. Keep up the good fight. Thanks. Well, thank you for writing in. I appreciate it. And this individual left this review letting the tribe know that you can do it as well. This individual got a 100-point boost. They're up in the 700s. We're going to go over a little bit more on how to be one of the highest FICO achievers, how to get in the 700s, the 800s here. And I also want to get to some of your questions as they start coming in and people start going in. So let's see. We got a question here. All right. So collector has my name completely wrong. Can I dispute that? Yes, absolutely. Okay. Also, if the address for the creditor is wrong, could I dispute that? Yes. These are inaccurate information, right? This name could be someone else's name. Yeah. Sometimes people saying, oh, well, this is you. This must be you because it's close to your name, right? We think that's your name. It's very possible. You know, my name is Brandon, but it's very possible to have a Brendan, right? Or a Brian, or a Brad, or Brandy, right? I mean, there's very close names, even if you're looking at my last name. A misspelling may not be a misspelling. It might actually be somebody else's name, right? So this may not be yours. This is the type of stuff, this is the type of information that you're looking for, these inaccuracies. This is the type of stuff that they have to be able to prove. This is the type of stuff that's on people's reports, holding them back from getting good credit and the stuff that they want. Yes, if the address is wrong, absolutely. That's another inaccuracy. All of this can be utilized and leveraged on top of these unverified accounts. Okay, so absolutely. We have inaccurate information dispute letters. We've got rounds of those as well, okay, along with the address and personal profile letter, which is another inaccurate, dispute, deletion of that, but it's a little bit more specific, so it's its own special letter, okay? We need to see Jerome make some more appearances in 2021. All right. Some on-camera appearances, Jerome? You think, hey, okay. None, hey, we'll schedule it, Jerome. All right. Tara says, hey, Brandon, thanks for all you do. Greatly appreciate you, Brandon. Great. Thank you. Thank you for the thumbs up. I appreciate it. All right. How do I dispute remove trade line? That is now negative. That's late pays. Okay. So if this is late payments, you could dispute just the late payments. That's a possibility. All right. You can dispute the late payments with the bureaus. You can send late payment dispute letters to this specific trade line. But if you want to remove the whole entire thing, there's nothing good about it, and it's charged off, or this is not ever going to be good because it's a collection or whatnot, you can dispute the entire trade line with the bureaus, with the collectors. Now, if it's positive, right? If this is a positive account, you can leave it alone and just dispute the late pays. All right. How can I get the credit report cleaned up? All accounts are charged off. All right. How can I prove my credit? So, Julius. All right. So, you want to remove all the negative items, right? So not only can you dispute, but what the letters entail, they allow you to leverage these potential violations to get these negative, nasty, erroneous items off. I had an individual who emailed in recently and said, hey, I sent the first round, I sent the second round, they didn't provide anything. How do I address that? It's in the second round. It talks about, when you're saying it's verified, who and how and what proof do you have and where this, and do you have anything that substantiates this, right? Do you have any proof? Yeah. Or they don't send anything. They don't have anything, right? So the letters are built out like that. We also have a list of potential violations that can be utilized to customize, which we can do for you also at theawesomelifegroup.com. But they're in the Beyond Committed package, which you can get, and you can utilize those to, on top of unverified accounts, perhaps, and this is something that I put out in one of my videos just recently, right? Perhaps and we're talking about the creditors, right? Or the collectors, they don't put your stuff into dispute. Okay. So they want to say, oh, well, yeah, it's disputed, but they failed to report a disputed debt to the credit bureaus. Okay. This is the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Section 8078. This is something that we have in the Beyond Commitment package that you can utilize. Okay. So if everything's in charge off, you probably, have some collections associated with it, more than likely. Okay. So if you're disputing with the collectors, let's say they aren't able to validate your debt, right? Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Section 809B, right? If they continue to pursue you and they are not able to validate it, you can utilize that, leverage that for deletion. Think about this. Sometimes they call after 9 p.m. at night or before 8 a.m. Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, Section 805. You can add that on there. Hey, you guys called such and such time, blah, blah, blah. You need to delete this, remove this. Or, hey, I need to complain to the CFPB. I need to go to the AG. I need to go to the wherever it is, right? Credit bureaus, they refuse to correct information after being provided proof of inaccuracies, like we were talking about. These addresses, the names, this kind of stuff. This is extent of damages incurred could be the fine. And this is Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 623, which we've talked about here. So not only do you have the letters, but you have a list, pages of potential violations. And this is why you send the letters to see, hey, hold up. Now you're violating my rights. And you can utilize that. We can do that, okay? Where's the site where I can get the letter 609creditrepair.com? I'll put that in the thing chat right now. We can do the work for you, the disputes and all that at theawesomelifegroup.com. All right. Let's see it jumps. Just start looking at it. Okay. Yes, remember, non-account holding inquiry is what you want to dispute. If you have an account associated with a hard inquiry and you're utilizing that account, your score is going to recover and potentially gain a lot more than what that one little hard inquiry did. Yeah. But if you've got hard inquiry and the account is no longer positive, it's negative, it's unverified, it's something that you're already disputing, you're getting out of there, then potentially you could go after that hard inquiry. But remember, non-account holding inquiries. Non-account holding inquiries typically, because you're using it, you want to keep using, you want to keep building your score, right? And speaking of building your score, getting up in that 700 score, okay, getting up 700, 800s. We know that 35% is payment history. We talk about that here all the time because we're talking about getting the late payments, disputing these negative unverified collections and charge-offs. And yes, those negative collections and charge-offs affect your amount of debt, your utilization, your credit history. So you got to get them out of there, okay? 30% is the amount of debt that you have. So again, credit utilization, you're like, hey man, I'm keeping my credit utilization down. What's going on? It's because they're shoving those collections or charge-offs in there, messing with you. So you want to keep your credit utilization under 30% at least, right? Really under 10%. And at the very best, if you can get under 7%, that's even better, okay? Once you're cleaning things up, you can use 3 revolving accounts, 3 cards, basically, right? One of them, what you're using could be an open-ended charge card, the Amex charge card that you have to pay at the end of the month. So 2 of them, or all 3 of them, could be revolving accounts. Now, revolving accounts, they can carry balances, okay? But we don't recommend necessarily carrying a balance. So we say, okay, well, you want to pay them off at the end of the month. So 3 accounts, you're using 3 accounts consistently. And a lot of people have, subscriptions, perhaps, some type of Netflix or some type of streaming service. Maybe they've got subscriptions that they can put on there that they're cool with utilizing, power, water, that kind of stuff. You're getting your utilities and they're going to auto bill anyway, or you got your internet or whatever it might be, right? Most people have some type of subscription. You can use 1 card for that. So you can see all where your subscriptions are, right? And then the other 2 cards you can just utilize as normal. So you could use, I'm going to get some gas here. I'm going to get some food here. I'm going to get some groceries here. I'm going to bang, 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 right? And you just boom, boom, boom. Use this card once, use this card once. So you got 2 cards in rotation, and then you got 1 running your subscriptions. Pay it off at the end of the month. And I'm telling you, using 3 I'm telling you, I know this sounds silly. I know this sounds odd. 3 revolving accounts. because, again, I have used 2. Score came down, came out of the 800s down into the high 700s. Like, what is going on? It's freaking me out. I went back using 3, bam, up in the 800s. I'm telling you, that is a trick. You'd be surprised, okay? Now, length of history. We know length of history is important. We've talked about credit history, but what does that mean? Okay, what does that mean, this 15%? So average age of your accounts, collective, together. So you're saying, hey, man, I've got some new credit. Why is my score not going up? Bang, bang, bang. Why is it not going up? Well, new credit takes a little time to age, It may take a few months to get you going. But once you're off and rolling, the average age of your accounts, highest FICO achievers have an average age of 9 years or more. Now, I didn't have all that history, average age history, when I was up first in the 800s, okay? So it's not everything, okay? Really, that on-time payment history, that amount of debt, not having a bunch of hard inquiries, keeping a good credit mix, those are important. So history, that average age, it's important, but again, you can be in the 800s without having crazy old age, just exactly like this. Age of oldest account opened, highest FICO 25 years. No, it's okay. I started in the, after I repaired my credit, I was up in the 800s. I didn't have no 25 years. Even now, I don't have 25 years and I'm in the 800s again. So that's, again, credit history. I'm, telling you how to maximize this kind of stuff, but it's okay. It's all right. Now, I was in the 800s, utilized my credit, right? Started adding new credit. And so my credit score came down. I was getting the travel miles, the cashback cards. I was setting myself up. I was getting business credit. So I set myself up for success. So it's okay. You can put your good credit to use. You can get the car you're looking for. You can get the house you're looking for. Credit score might come down, but it will come back up. I'm living proof. Went from the 800s into the high 700s, back into the 800s as possible. So new credit can bring it down a little bit. It's 10%. So the highest FICO achievers really haven't applied for credit in the past year. And really, they really haven't opened an account in 2.5 years, right? So you think, man, 2.5 years is long. That's what I'm saying. You might go through a period of time. You're like, I got good credit. Now what I need to do is I need to get some business credit, get my house, get my mortgage, my car. You're set up for a couple of years. Usually once you're set up, then all of a sudden you say, oh, wow, it went boom, way back up. Okay, cool. All right. Or maybe I'm getting my business credit and I'm getting my car. I'm getting my business credit and then I have to get a car or get the house. And so there will be a period of time where you're not, as potentially active opening accounts because you're up in the high 700s, 800s, and you're solid. You set yourself up. So it can be a little, the amount of credit and credit history that will be a little bit more fluid. But we know on time, all the time, and keeping utilization down, using 3 revolving accounts, you can do that. We can do that. You can do that. Okay. And all these little other variables are smaller. Okay. Now, your credit mix is also important. Individuals who have credit cards, you want to look at also having the open-end charge card at some point. It's a small little trick that can help, but it is part of the credit mix. Now, if you don't have an open-end charge card, if you don't have that Amex, don't sweat it. You can still get an 800s. But if you're looking to maximize, you're looking for tips and tricks, and you're like, what can I do? What can I do? You might be able to get that open-end charge card through American Express can help. Also, having revolving accounts, 12 revolving accounts. I'm not saying get them all at once, but yes, that can be very impactful because you've got a lot of available credit. They like to see 12 revolving accounts. It seems like you're utilizing what you're supposed to be utilizing with 3 and leaving the others. Because look, you can have 3. You only have to really use 3. Okay, you can be in the 800s. Believe me. Living proof, right? So revolving accounts, number of revolving accounts being used or reported, usually 12. Now, if you've got store cards, okay, only 5 of those revolving accounts can be store cards. Okay, the rest need to be big banks, Citibanks, Barclays, Chase, those kind of things, right? B of A. Now, installment loans, 5 installment loans. Now, they could be closed and paid off in all good positive history. Okay, so you're thinking, dang, 5, that's a lot. Well, if you've paid off 1 car, if you used maybe a self.inc, maybe you've got an open car right now. So over the course of 5, 10, 15 years, you're probably going to at least have 2 or 3 pretty easily, right? Highest FICO achievers have 5 installment loans in good standing, right? So maybe you had a self.inc, maybe you paid off 1 car, maybe you're on another car, maybe you're on a mortgage. So you could easily have 2 to 4 right there, you know? So it's not too challenging. And again, you don't have to have a whole bunch of, installments. You don't necessarily have to hit 5, but highest FICO achievers tend to be there. Bank issued cards, like we were talking about, at least 7, but the others can be store cards. You do not have to have store cards to be in the high 700s, 800s. You do not. Okay. Some people, like myself, I didn't really need store cards. Some people need store cards. You don't have to have them. You don't. But it's not. You don't get penalized for having them as long as you don't. As long as you have, 7 of the big bank cards, right? Okay. So you can get on the 700s. You could boost your score 100 points like this last individual. You can get hard inquiries off. You can get these charges. You can get these collections. Let's get into some more of your questions. Also, I'm putting my email address in here again because I get to go and I get to talking. I get to answering questions. I get excited and I might miss a question or two, but please email me. Please, please, please. Okay. I will help you get to the other side. Let's see. So. Can accounts with incomplete, missing, and no payment history be disputed? Could they be removed? Wow. There's a standard reporting across the 3 bureaus, okay? The Metro 2 that people talk about, right? People talk, oh man. It's their standard reporting. Everyone is supposed to maintain a standard. Let's say one bureau or the other bureaus got different, complete, less missing information. They've got payment history. They've got this stuff. Then yes, they're supposed to be all on the same page, right? You can dispute that. And you can show and say, hey, this needs to be removed. Now, not everything has to be reported. This also is helpful when you're dealing with late payments. So they'll say, oh no, well, we got to report and we got to let this know, blah, 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 blah. No, they don't actually have to report everything. And you've seen it where it says, not reported or NR, nothing there or whatever, right? No record or whatever it might be. So incomplete information, yes, they're supposed to have, name, address, and the social tie to it, and they're supposed to know the proper complete payment history if they're reporting payment history, right, to all 3 bureaus. Yes. Now, something may not be on there, and it may not be on there in all 3, and it might still be positive. So let's say you have a line of credit and you've got 2 years of payment history on there, but it doesn't go back, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years. Sometimes you only see 24 months, 36 months, or whatever it might be. So you might want to leave that stuff alone. If it's negative, if it's to a potential violation, utilize it. Get these negative, unverified, erroneous stuff out of there, right? Whatever you have available to you right now, whether it's 609creditrepair.com, that Beyond Committed package, or us doing the work for you and the Awesome Life group, now is the time, okay? Medical collection. Ah. Brocco Credit. What up? Hey, how are you? See, it moves just a little bit. And then okay. Disputed with the collectors. Medical collection. Okay. They sent back just statements. Nothing beyond that. Okay. They also might have violated HIPAA. All right. Interesting. Then maybe they sent back statements with your medical information on it. Okay. So you're saying, okay, I got statements, but it's got CPT code that says what it was for. Maybe it says, MRI. Maybe it says something else, right? Maybe it has other pertinent information that shouldn't be showed to individuals because you didn't sign a HIPAA release for other individuals and companies to see it. And or they don't have it, right? So they say, oh, well, we're supposed to have, we don't have it. I've actually seen an individual emailed me, a collector sent them a HIPAA release hoping that this person would sign the HIPAA release after the fact. So then they could say, oh, okay, well, now we're able to look at this and we're able to look at your reports and your records, your medical records. So yes, we have HIPAA dispute letters you can utilize to leverage that and send to the bureaus and show them the proof. They need to remove this now and send to the collectors and send to whomever you need to, the CFPB, whatever needs to happen for you to get this derogatory account off of there. And I'm telling you, these unverified medical collections, you can also put no contract on your report. So 609 disputes, unverified, no contract. Okay. Unverified medical collection, no contract. All right. See collector opening and then closing the account. Why is this? Okay, so what the collectors will sometimes do is people will dispute, and in the first maybe round, the collector will close it, which is interesting, right? Why was it open in the first place? So they close it thinking, oh, well, they'll leave us alone. Okay, the individual who's disputing, they don't know, and we'll close it. And they think it's closed, and that'll help their credit, and we just leave it on there. And then maybe a little bit later down the road, we'll call again and say, well, we need to, and no, and it's just a stall tactic. It's just a tactic that they hope that people don't know. It's close, and it's negative, and it's collection. You can keep disputing this. And that's a thing. That's another thing. If this was inaccurate the first time and it was open, and now they're closing it, well, how are they able to maintain that it was open? What item, what proof, what did they have to substantiate it? What stuff did they have, right? Audio recording, contract, what do they have? Video, what are they utilizing to maintain this information on your report? So you can utilize that as well as leverage, okay? And you can dispute with the bureaus, you can dispute with them, hey, hold up, this is open, now it's closed. What documentation you have? And we have that information. The collection validation letters are very thorough. They've got a lot on there that we demand, all right? This is why they get nervous, yeah. When can I send the second round? Okay, so we had an individual just recently sent one round of letters. They came back. They were like, oh, quote unquote, verified. They said in the second round of letters, they got 3 of their 4 collections removed on the second round. Okay, so they had 4 collections, 3 of them deleted on the second round letters. So sometimes, you send the next round and they realize this person's not going to stop, and they're demanding the right stuff because we violated their rights. We didn't respond within 30 days. We didn't do an investigation. We didn't provide any information, any proof. So if they send back a letter and you've got the response, you can send your next round, or because it could be in the 30-day window, but they have 30 days to postmark your response from when they get the letters. So they get the letters, they got 30 days to postmark your response. Maybe the mail run a little later, something, a couple of days or whatever. Give them that time. Bam. You don't see anything, you send your second round of letters, and you can send your non-response letters as well on top of that, okay? So that's basically a timeline for you on that. Davey, hey, Ben, I'm late, but I'm here. Hey, good to see you. All right. Yes, says X-rays. Yeah. So that's the kind of stuff. For medical, think about it. Even us, unless you told us, right? But would it be okay for me to just see and say, oh, look at that, you had some X-rays done on such and such a day? That's your medical information. So if they don't have that ability, if they don't have a signed HIPAA release allowing you to give information to third parties and so forth to allow for collections, they need to be able to provide that. Yes. So you can send your HIPAA 609creditrepair.com and get that Beyond Committed package, or we can do the work for it, the awesomelifegroup.com. I'm going to put my email in here as well. All right. Thank you for being here on a weekend. All right. KP, lovely. Thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Don't forget to hit the like button. I appreciate it. All right. Tanisha Jones is the truth. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. We're having a great time on these lives. Please hit that subscribe, try button, that bell for notifications for when I go live so you get these notifications. I appreciate you all for being here on the weekend. Let's see, maybe we'll do one more here. Scores are good, but it But is it necessary for high credit card limits? High limit credit cards? Okay. So you're looking for more available credit with, okay, so it's a mixture. Certain banks are going to potentially lend in higher amounts with credit cards. You can ask for credit line increases. Just make sure they're not giving you the hard inquiries for your credit line increases unless you really feel like it's worth it. And yes, your credit scores can be part of that. Okay, so I've noticed sometimes it changes from time to time, so just be cautious for what you're looking for. Sometimes Chase can be a little bit more liberal. Sometimes Barclay and Capital One can be a little bit tighter with the lines of credit. Sometimes Capital One is more willing to work with individuals who are building credit. Okay, so it's just kind of different out there depending on what you're looking for, what you want. But if you're looking for high limits, which can be helpful, and here's another reason why high limits can be helpful is, let's say you've got a nice trade line on there and you're going for business funding. This was something that I actually started with and recognized they were willing to match a higher credit card limit for me to the business. And you're thinking, okay, well, why have such a nice high limit? Is because you can utilize a little bit more, right, without utilizing too much of your credit utilization. So you're not using it all up. Because if you have a line of credit that's maybe $1,000 and you're like, oh, well, I need to use $1,000 for my business, or whatnot. You use it all up and it's going to look all maxed out. And you're saying, okay, well, that's on the business, so that doesn't mess with me, right? So this individual's looking at the personal side. So maybe you're like, oh, I'm on 1,000, you use up 500, now you're 50% utilization on one card. Your utilization can be not only across all of cards, but also on each card. Yeah. So you don't want to max out one card either. So let's say you have a line of credit for 500, you use 500. Now you max it all out one card, right? So having big high limits looks really good as well, because then you can use that one card for other stuff. And you're like, oh, I use $500 here, or maybe $1,000 here, $250 here, whatever it might be. And now it's like, oh, you're using 2%, 3% of your credit. It's no big deal, right? So that keeps your credit scores high. And then it's more pivotal to boom, 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 being able to get more credit and higher limits. It's cyclical, right? It moves up, right? It's very, very solid. And that's why you want to get these collections and these charge-offs off of there, because oftentimes you get this charge-off and then boom, you get a double whammy. You get the collection if it goes and then boom, 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 right, it comes down, all right? So 609creditrepair.com. We can do the work for you at theawesomelifegroup.com. Please give the video a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe try button. I love you all so very much. I appreciate you. Please enjoy your weekend. And until I see you in person, I will see you on the other side. Take care.